Good evening, Toronto. You're listening to Lovers Rotation here on CIUT 89.5 FM, the one and only sound of your city. Welcome back and welcome home to your soulful sanctuary here in our beautiful city of Toronto. My name is Aisha and I'm your host tonight. And as always, we're joined by some real ones at the couch with us. But I'm gonna let my co-host tap in for a sec before we introduce them.
Good evening, everyone. It's your girl T.
She's in her nice little swishy jacket, her little getup. I'm loving it.
Very dapper today. I'm chatting.
She's real dapper. Yes.
Exactly.
And if you're hearing those lovely laughs in the background, we are joined by the hottest DJ duo in Toronto right now. You might have seen them at one of their amazing curated events like Out with the Girls or Cyro's World, or you may have seen them at Toronto's hottest venues, but I'm going to let them introduce themselves. All right, ladies.
Hi, I'm Robin.
And I'm Chelsea.
And
we're
Cyro
Cyro Sounds.
Period.
And we are so happy to have them here tonight with us. And they made a very special lovers mix for you guys, very special for you. But we're just going to jump right into the tracks because as you guys know, we got a lot to play and a lot to say. So we're just going to jump right in. This is the first part of the mix by Cyro here on Lovers Rotation. Welcome back to Lovers Rotation. That was the first part of a very special mix made by the one and only Cyro, your favorite DJ duo here in Toronto. But we're just going to jump right in. Guys, tell us about first, one by one, how each of you fell in love with music, creating music, how that relates to your roots, and then we'll talk about how you guys came together with it.
Sure. So this is Robin, by the way. You're not seeing me. I kind of fell in love with music, honestly, through sports. I grew up playing hockey competitively, and I used to always be the one who would make the playlist for like the pregame warm up, and I would love like creating the playlist for during the game, things like that. So I think I just really loved creating playlists and just like creating like a mood or a vibe. And then as I got older, Spotify came out, and that was honestly just amazing. Like I loved that. I was also an iTunes girly, obviously, at some point, but I feel like I loved Spotify, and I loved how you could like change the crossfader and like all these like little elements that started to come out. And I would create playlists for all different types of vibe, like late night drives or whatever. So when I was in university, I got to study abroad, and I wanted to be in this audio production class, and I was like, I'm gonna learn like how to DJ. Like this is gonna be my little producing vibe. But it ended up being very like commercial focused and more about like production, like what we're doing right now.
Okay.
Less like music focused. So I ended up not staying in the course, but it was kind of something that I ended up picking up as a hobby over COVID, and Chelsea and I actually did that together. So yeah.
My answer is like the same with Robin. I grew up always making the playlist for my friend groups. If we were going out, I wanted to be on aux. Like I was fighting for it.
You're actually begging for the aux.
Yeah. I was because I was like, your music is not that good. Let me play. Like it was bad. Even when we would get to parties, like house parties, I was like, let me go on.
Oh, you were one of those.
I was, but it'd be my like little way in because the guys would be like, you don't know music. I'm like, watch.
Oh.
And then I'd be hitting them with all these tracks, and I'm like, And then honestly, when I started driving and I got Spotify as well, I do not like trying to change music while I'm driving. It's not my thing. Yeah. So I started making playlists to exactly how like I wanted like feel, moods. Again, like late night drives. If I was about to go somewhere, go to a party. So I was like, I need to just make my own playlist. I got really good at it. My friends would always make jokes being like, okay, you're going to be a DJ. You're going to be a DJ. And I was like, no, what? I should be a DJ. But I always had interest in learning about it. And when I also went abroad for school, which is where Robin and I met, we kind of started talking about it, how we both were like super into music. We both wanted to DJ. So it was just like the next like natural step in both our love for music.
Wow. Yeah. So similar journeys, and then you kind of just came together at least at school. Yeah. So what was like curating together? What was that process like for the first time and like, you know, starting that journey off?
I think it was like it came pretty naturally. Like one of our friends taught us over COVID, and it was just like a hobby. Like we thought we were just basically gonna make playlists for like SoundCloud or whatever, and like kind of like we didn't really think that we were going to DJ and like kind of on a more performance based level. And then they actually kind of gave us that extra push of like, no, you guys are really good. Like you guys could actually do something. And we think that even the fact that your duo is something that's really unique, and we haven't really seen that before, especially between two women. So I think for us, it came very naturally. We have very similar tastes, just like in fashion, in music, and like a lot of like the visual arts and stuff like that. So I think because we just naturally like the same sound, putting songs together, we were just like, that's a banger. Let's put them together and like just make it work. So that's kind of how it came. It was very natural though.
Yeah, I feel like we have the same thought process and a lot of stuff like music, fashion, etc. So it was really easy, like even making like crates, like crate building and stuff. I'd be like, oh, we should do this song. She's like, off of this song, off of that song. So it was.
Sorry, what's
easy.
a crate?
Sorry.
In layman's terms.
Sorry for those of us, because I'm thinking milk crates, and I'm like,
girl.
Yeah.
Well, kind of. Honestly, that's how it did. That's how it did start. Like DJs would take milk crates and they would put all their records inside.
Yeah.
And it was organized.
So they would organize it by like the tempo of the song. They'd bring it when DJs used to do a lot of turntable DJing, and then now that it's digital, we have digital crates. So it's basically just it's kind of just like a folder. It's a digital folder
or playlist almost as well. Like just certain vibes that you want to be in. It's just easy to jump in between and stuff.
Yeah, that's how we like usually sort like our genres, or like Chelsea like more of like a vibe, or you could put like your mixes, anything into it. It's just a folder.
That's cool. So how was the concept of Cyro born? Because like you guys said, it's something very unique that I know I personally know a lot of people haven't seen before, and that's part of the appeal. It's new, it's fresh, it's exciting. So what does, first of all, Cyro mean? Why that name? And then also, where did the core inspiration come for you guys to come together and intersect not just music, but also fashion, which obviously, as you guys can see, you're killing it. So tell us about like how the concept of Cyro was born.
Well, Cyro is our name to begin with. It's our names put together. A lot of people don't know that.
I stared at it long enough and I was like, oh, wait, I can see the
C
and the...
Yes. Yeah. So originally when we were just like trying to play around, come up with like DJ duo names, we wanted to put our names together, but obviously my name is CH, and then obviously RO for Robin. Okay. We were trying to avoid people calling us like Cyro, so we took out the H and we put the Y, and we liked the way Cyro sounded better. Yeah. But unfortunately, people still read it as that.
They'll still say Cyro or Cairo.
Then we get Cairo a lot.
Or Kiro, I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah. But let it be known, guys, it is Cyro.
Cyro.
Cyro sound, thank you.
I think conceptually about like how we came together, we're just gonna do this together versus like us individual learning and just individually DJing separately. Yeah. I think it was actually something that we really like to do together. As much as we enjoy DJing alone, I think it's more fun to do it together. We're best friends. We have a very like familial relationship, honestly. Yeah. So I think for us, we just think that it's something that we both like to do together. And on top of that, we think it feels like almost a little bit more natural to go back to back and like just play off of each other. And that's kind of how we get into like those more like high energy moments of our set of like, I'm like, oh shit. Okay. And then I'm like, okay, let me do this. And like, we'll kind of just like, not that it's competitive, but like we just want to keep bringing the vibe up more and more and more. And I feel like when you're doing it with somebody, I want to say for us, it feels more natural than doing it alone. Yeah. So we just like to it's like nice having a second brain, but that's also the biggest challenge of being a duo is that there's two brains.
People do not realize how hard it can be. I think people think it's easier.
Yeah.
But
we have to be in sync. And like I said, we don't want it to be competitive where like we're now like the vibes are competing. It still needs to feel very much like it's one sound, which is
it feels like one brain, but it's both of us. But that works because we have so much in common, especially when it comes to music, of course. I don't think it would work if it was a little different.
Yeah, no, for sure. I would say like, cause you guys DJ'd at our anniversary party in January, and it felt like one brain. I don't know how to explain it. Like it was just so seamless, and every track just made sense. And I remember in my head, I was like, I wonder if I can figure out like when the switch is happening or who's doing what. But I'm like, I really couldn't pick it up. Like it just felt so seamless. So I think you guys definitely mastered that. Before we get into the second part of the mix, what have you guys been listening to lately? What's been on your playlist? What have you been running down?
I'm like going a little back in time, which is like, but that's like been our thing. We love like throwback R&B, but I've just been on like a throwback like Canadian vibe. Like Nelly Furtado. I don't know. I've been playing her so much lately, and like the old Justin Bieber, like R&B, old Drake,
Journals.
Just what I grew up listening to. So I don't know. I'd be driving home, and I'm like, let me just throw on like. Just all Canadian music they're eating right now.
I won't even hold you. I feel like I don't know if it's because Justin Bieber announced that he was going to be dropping music again soon, but I have been revisiting a lot of old Justin Bieber. I don't know if it's a tactic, but I don't know if they're getting in our heads. But
no. Forgetting they're just dropping. They dropped so many gems.
2016, 2014.
That was a beautiful era.
Very
for
nostalgic.
music.
A lot of gems.
Yes.
Definitely.
What about you, Robin? What have you been playing?
It's hard. I feel like as a DJ, I think everyone thinks like you must listen to music all the time. Girl, sometimes I just need to like sit in silence. But I also teach spin, so I'm curating playlists all of the time for that. That's like definitely a more electronic vibe overall. So I'm actually listening to like a lot of like Afro house, Amapiano. I don't want to butcher the name. I think it's Guam, GQOM. It's like another. Is that how you say that?
I don't want to butcher it.
I don't want to butcher it. Anyways, overall South African tracks, and it like the different tempos and all of that. So that's really been like my pastime listening is just that.
Yeah, a lot of like high energy music.
Yeah, like I love anything that's very drum heavy.
Nice.
So that's been for me.
Yeah, Afro House, love it.
Timeless, to be honest. Like you can always count on Afro House. I know when I'm at work and I have nothing to play, I'm just like, today we're listening to Afro House again, and everyone's just like, I love the vibes today. Like, what do you? And I'm just like,
That's what we've been even been like playing more often too. We're like, okay, we're just gonna play Afro House. Like people don't hear that.
There's something for everybody.
Yeah,
exactly. Very universal. Well, on that note, we're going to jump right into the second part of the mix. Make sure you guys stay tuned in and tapped in, and we're going to come back with the rest of the interview here on Lover's Rotation. Welcome back to Lovers Rotation. You guys just heard part 2 of a very special Lovers exclusive mix made by the one and only Cyro, who we are joined with tonight. So let's just jump right in. You guys are coming off of like such an energetic Women's Month. You guys launched your monthly series, Out with the Girls. So like I'd mentioned earlier, you guys do a lot of just beautifully curated femme forward events that are really focused on just elevating and, you know, having a great time just in a safe space as a woman. So why did you guys feel like event series such as Out with the Girls and a lot of the other things that you guys do, why is that so needed?
Where do we even begin?
I know. It's a loaded question. I'm like, we could go on all night.
Well, there's definitely a bunch of different reasons why coming into a DJ industry is male dominated. We didn't always feel like there was like a space for girls, or girls were always like put first. It was always the male DJ or just always going to the guy to get something done. When there's so many talented women that we just don't have the space to do so, we wanted to create a space where girls can come and like network, have friends, just have a good time, and not have that worry about honestly guys being around where they can do that and just be themselves. Also, you know, when we DJ, we obviously don't get to really speak to our friends that come to our events. And it sucks because, you know, they're there to support us, but there's not a lot of time to talk. So we also wanted to create an event where we can curate it, bring in women DJ, of course, and then also have time to be able to like talk and network and build with the girls that are coming always to like support us.
Yeah, that
That's
makes
so
sense.
beautiful. Yeah. And one thing I really liked as well, like just learning about Out with the Girls too, is that your team is also very much like women, like focused, women led, from like photographers to the DJs, like you said. So what has that process been like, trying to pull together, you know, a woman led team and also just like running it as two women yourselves?
Yeah, it's honestly been very like seamless. I won't lie. We love to work with women.
Working with women is so easy and organized.
Yeah, I think
Everything should be run by women.
exactly. We run
Take
the
notes.
world. Anyways, no, I feel like firstly I'm very like type A, so I do like a lot of the admin and the organization, and Chelsea's like the very like charismatic, personable one. She does like a lot of our direct marketing in terms of talking to people and all of that. So I think both of us kind of understanding what our strengths are and like being able to do that through like these roles that we're doing together has been really seamless. And then working with like our women led team, it's honestly amazing. I feel like the girls just get it. It's honestly so hard to even put into words, but I think when you are kind of on the same wavelength with people, things just kind of fall into place naturally. And that's very much how Out with the Girls has been. I think a lot of women feel like this series or concept is needed and they want to participate. And so our door is always open. We're always looking to collaborate with people. It's kind of one of those series where obviously it's a Cyro series, but it's kind of a series for every girl. So anything that you want to bring to the table, we're fully open, and we just love working with everybody. And it's really like a community building thing of like, how can we share our resources? How can you share your resources? How can we kind of like elevate and grow together? And it's like, why not do it together?
Yeah.
I love that. That's beautiful. And I feel like you guys are always taking it to the next level in terms of sort of creating spaces for sort of like distinct communities. So that sort of leads into Cyro's World, which you guys have, I think, officially launched. I think volume 1 coming up soon. Or if by the time you guys hear this, already done. And you know what? I'm sure it was great. We're just going to step into the future a little bit. But so for Cyro's World, I think that like you guys have mentioned, it really reflects like sort of the diversity and the history living in a city like Toronto, a country like Canada. So what inspired you guys to be like, you know what, we got to do something for the different communities? And what has the process been sort of learning about the different kinds of music that you got to play? Because I know you guys got the South Asian one coming up. I don't know if either of you have any South Asian background, but did you have to, was it like, okay, now I got to sit down, I got to go on South Asian TikTok, I got to scroll through, I got to see what's hot. Like, what is that
There's a lot of
experience
learning
been?
for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, growing up Canadian, like you said, like you are exposed to so many cultures. Toronto is a melting pot. You can go out and you're going to hear a bunch of different music. But sometimes that one particular culture is not appreciated enough. It doesn't get enough spotlight, or you might not even hear that music at all. We just wanted to basically create like a 6-month series, like an event, like a platform where we can also bring in that culture from those like DJs, talent, etc., just to put them all in one space and be able to showcase that. And of course, it is woman led as well, as much as we can.
Yeah. Just to premise, Chelsea and I are from Brampton, so we really have grown up in the South Asian community.
Enough said.
So we've grown up in the South Asian community. It's actually very, very beautiful. I grew up with a lot of Pakistani people, and I think it's something that as a DJ, we've been doing this for almost 3 years now. I'm like, I really haven't gone to like a South Asian led party. I feel like maybe I'm just not in the algorithm, I'm not seeing it, but I was like, I really want to experience this, and I want other people to experience this because I think it's really special, like the fusion of sound. And I think that's really what Cyro's World is about. It's really about like kind of fusing these different sounds. Maybe you would not hear them together. Like Chelsea and I, you know, we're Caribbean, so like bringing that like Caribbean Desi fusion, I feel like is so unique, and I think it allows us like to have a new creative outlet where we would do something that we typically wouldn't do on maybe a King Street or maybe even a Queen Street, and it kind of gives that space to be more creative and like kind of push the boundary.
Exactly.
And then I think on top of that, it's really an immersive event series where we're not doing this to like try to go viral or like to necessarily like tap in just for the sake of doing it. I think it's like, let's really bring this experience forward to everybody. And it's not really about Cyro. It's more of like that worldview, which I think is really interesting in Canada because almost everybody, if you are not an immigrant, like your parents are an immigrant.
Yeah.
And if your parents aren't an immigrant, then your grandparents are. And so I think it's important to like keep that.
Yeah, this event series is literally for everyone.
Yeah.
Like everyone can find like their time and place to come. So I'm really excited for them to be able to see that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I love the premise so much, and I think it's such a great concept and very important as well, considering like the times that we are entering, like being in a space where you're prioritizing that diversity, that uniqueness, and also the fact that we're all coming from like different sorts of backgrounds and putting everybody in a space where you're experimenting with different sounds and also curating like more unique experiences for people. Like that is so needed. So it's really awesome to see that y'all are kind of pushing that forward, especially in this time and age. I have to emphasize, like, really is so important. But yes, that's amazing to hear. And I guess like being Brampton kids growing up here, you've been to your share of parties and like have different sort of like experiences in the nightlife. What makes a good party for y'all
in Toronto specifically?
Yes,
because I think we have like a very unique, like you said, landscape that you can't find nowhere else. But then at the same time, you know, like Toronto, Screwface capital, synonymous, you know? So like tell us what would be sort of like, what makes a great Toronto party? Honestly, how do you, in a nutshell?
For number one, we should not take our DJs for granted. DJs really do make the party. And I say that making the comparison when I go to even the States and I listen to another DJ, like they are talented, but they play for obviously like maybe like that one vibe. When you're in Toronto and you grow up in a melting pot, because like you're so open to hearing so much different type of music, you are going to get to experience that at a party. So our DJs honestly are probably the number one thing. Like the music will make me stay.
Yeah.
But I think Robin and I try to fill in like little areas that we feel like are missing, which is when we throw our own parties is how we curate parties, just like down to like little details and stuff that makes like the event more memorable. I feel like that is really important to me. Like when I walk in, I want to feel like I'm like entering into something else, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I agree. I feel like I have two perspectives. The first one is like my DJ perspective, which is very similar to what Chelsea was saying. Just like the curation of the music, the curation of the party itself of like, okay, like maybe there's special cocktails that night. Maybe there's just something that you kind of leave and you don't forget. Maybe it's the dancing or like a certain moment. But I think from a consumer perspective, I love like a spontaneous night out of like, let's just go with the flow and like let's see kind of where we end up. And I think it's a little bit challenging with like ticketed parties, but I think just like that element of like that like kind of mystery of like what is gonna happen. I feel like I always have like a really good sometimes random night here and there where I'm just like, we just went where we were told to go and we showed up, we didn't know what to expect, and it was great.
It was just great vibes.
Expect nothing.
The bar's on the ground.
Exactly. That is a very valid point. I think very relevant for Toronto too, just to like put that out there. Like sometimes you have to come with low expectations because then you can have the best time.
Exactly.
So,
1,000%.
Open mind. Exactly. You gotta have an open mind. You just gotta be ready for whatever. I can definitely vouch. When I went to the Out with the Girls party, I had a crazy good time, and I just really wasn't expecting it. Like I came, I was like, I'm gonna have a junior night. I'm just gonna, just say hi, whatever.
And it was your
She
birthday.
was outside.
And it was my
She was
birthday.
outside.
I was. We had a good time. It was great.
Yeah.
And so you know what? It's experiences like that just kind of, and I think it also reflects those values that you guys try to instill in all of your events, where it's just like, just coming in to a place where I only know you guys, like maybe I ran into a few friends, but I ended up leaving there, like, making a few more friends, having such a good night, like connecting with other great women, and like just ringing in my birthday in like such an amazing fashion.
we love that.
Being welcomed with open arms. And I think that is just a beautiful experience. And I think it sums up just like the hard work that you guys put into your events just to make it such a comfortable time for everybody, because it's not easy. It's not easy, and like down to every details, like even like the little grapes. Like I don't forget the grapes. I don't forget the candy. Like all of those little things. Like you said, it's something that people walk away with. So I think that a lot of the values that you guys see in a good night, like I think that's why you're able to curate such a good night, because you're like, okay, you know what? Let's make our event like this, something people won't really forget. But before we jump into the mix once again, we're gonna get a little personal with you guys. We're gonna ask, okay, let our audience know, what is your current hot take?
It could be music, it could be fashion, it could be anything on y'all's mind.
And don't be shy.
Yeah. Keep it real.
Hot take.
And take your time too, because
I did have it. Oh, okay.
no, you're good.
I did have it and I forgot.
Yeah, no, take your time, girl.
I know.
Okay, I think I have mine. Maybe this is like a little mean, but we're going into summer, and I think we need to normalize telling people when they smell bad. Because I feel like, but also only if you have a solution to offer. Don't just tell someone they smell bad. Just like say it. But I feel like if like sometimes maybe you just don't know. You're just so in the moment. Maybe you've had a little too much to drink, and like it would be like not telling someone they have like something on their face, you know? So I just think we can normalize that. Honestly, it's very common. I also work in the fitness industry, and so you know, it is a touchy subject. However, if you don't say anything, nothing will change.
So how do you tell someone they smell bad? Like let's pretend like you're telling somebody and you know like they're having a good time, like they're just on the top of the world, and you know that they're really sensitive. How would you say it?
I think you need to gaslight them.
Ooh.
You need to gaslight them into wanting to smell good.
Okay.
So how do you do that?
I think it's just like,
Let's go to the washroom together.
yeah, like, oh my gosh, babe, have you smelled this perfume? This
Try
would smell
it.
so good on
Yup,
you.
you're right. Actually,
This would smell so good on you.
Whoa. Okay.
And then like, hopefully they just want to use it.
that's such a nice way of going
You know
about
what?
it.
That's good though. That's good. It's kind of being like, yeah, I got this new deodorant. Oh, you should really try it.
Oh, did you know Dove makes aluminum? Like, let's make this a freaking ad.
Yeah.
How do they sell deodorant to people? Like, we need to do it in real life. Why, you know? So like, let's just gaslight them into wanting to use these products, or maybe just doing a little dap, whatever. But yeah, that's my hot take.
I love that. You know what? It's a hot take, but like you said, summer's coming up, and it's just a consistent problem. Like, so we got to start gaslighting people into smelling better.
Yeah.
Long story
It's
short.
a valid hot take. Yeah.
Valid.
That's
Quite valid.
cover it up with oud.
Quite valid. And that's another thing. The perfume is it's a temporary fix while we're in the
Hygiene.
building. Temporary fix.
Okay.
Temporary
Yeah.
fix. Okay, Chelsea, what about you?
Mine is gonna be about music. I don't know if this is necessarily a hot take because we're Canadian, but I feel like I just need to say this. Drake is exactly who he thinks he is.
Thank you.
Period.
Thank you.
I need you to elaborate, please.
He is exactly who he thinks he is.
Thank you.
This album dropped. You hear it in the club. People are screaming, and it's the slow tracks. I don't want to hear anything else.
Slow
Somebody
tracks,
that
1
loves me.
a.m. is
Thank
cjust so you know the song hits.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
just
Yeah.
to
you have
just to
anything
play
to
the just to play the devil's advocate in the room
No.
break. Just for just for 1 second, I would argue.
You see, you know who was born in the GTA and who wasn't.
Exactly. As someone that was not born in the GTA, I have to ask: Do you guys ever feel that maybe because it's a Toronto club, maybe because it's Toronto radio, that there is like the obligation to run Drake tracks?
No.
I used to actually
No.
refuse to play Drake when
Yeah.
we first started DJing.
Literally,
we were
both
like,
of us were like,
really?
yes.
we were like, yeah, we're not really like playing Drake, like his like current stuff at the time.
Yeah.
Because it
And
was
then
overplayed.
back
we
then.
wanted to
Yeah.
bring
It was
something
like,
else
it was
back.
too-
It
Yeah.
was too like radio,
Yeah.
like
God's
trophies,
plan is,
God.
Yes, like he was
like,
in
no-
that phase
yeah,
at that
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
Literally.
Drake.
Yeah.
If you're listening, I love you bad, but that had to rest for a second.
Yeah.
But overall, I think when you're somebody that's so in the spotlight, it's actually just like fun for people to say your name. that like people kind of forget about the journey, and then also like really like the stature of like this is the peak. Like this is very much the peak of what not I don't want to say what you can do as an artist, because I think there's always something to push and something to do, but this is a very talented person, and this is also someone who's very business minded, and I think that that has been very, very underrated by him. Like he is a businessman.
Underrated is an interesting choice, but you know what?
Right now, I think it's the perfect word for him.
Listen, I got my people in the room with me. Listen, Drake, I've been fighting for my life. Okay,
and you're gonna keep fighting as long as I'm in this chair.
I don't care. The music speaks for itself. That's
exactly.
it.
I'm a hater, but respect is respect.
Sexy songs for you, like that spoke for itself. I was really scared because I'm like, you got one more chance.
No, really.
I'm like, you got one more chance. Don't disappoint me.
And he did exactly what he needed to do. He actually reminded everybody why he is Drake when that album came out. Like, he's bringing me back to like his old music. I'm running that album every day. Like I don't.
Every day.
He's exactly who he thinks he is. I stand on that.
All right, respect it. I'm not gonna challenge that. That's fine.
Period. Okay, well, guys, this is the most quiet she's been about Drake. Yes, I love this. I'm winning today. I gotta soak all of this in.
I'll let y'all have it.
Thank you, because we don't get it every day. It's a good thing Dapper's not here, because you would have had somebody on your side. But today,
I would have had time. Don't worry.
Today you're outnumbered. All right. Well, on that note, we're gonna get you guys into the third part of the special mix made especially for you by Cyro here on Lover's Rotation. Welcome back to Lover's Rotation. We're here with the one and only Cyro. And before we get into the last bit of the mix, we're gonna keep it classic. And on the show, on our last segment, we like to ask you guys sort of what's been on your mind and what's been on your heart. This can be anything related to your career, could be related to anything Cyro, or just anything that's been sitting on your chest, whether in a positive way, negative way. Anything at all.
For me, I feel like I've been thinking so much about like just living more like in the moment and not being too goal oriented, in the sense of like I'm constantly just living 5 steps away from where I am now. And I think just practicing more intention, and I feel like that kind of actually does go into DJing, the party scene, how we like show up and support each other, and like really what that looks and feels like for me at least. And I think just trying to spend more time like contributing in different ways. And even like we have our new party, Cyro's World, and I'm really working with these other DJs, these other creators, and it's been so interesting because I'm like, wow, like I feel like I haven't actually came to see you. And I get to like perform with you and work with you now. And I'm like, I feel like I want to do better by like really supporting the community more as well, going to these other events, buying the tickets, buying the drinks, doing the whole thing. And I think it's something that's important to both of us. It's something that we always try to do. But I think as we've been so busy with our own planning, I'm like, I want to tap back in with the community, see what's kind of going on the days where we're not doing something. So yeah, just being more present, being a little bit more like intentional, whether that's through like my social life or like family life or cooking, cleaning, the whole thing.
So obviously, like between, teaching spin, DJing, curating, doing the admin, all of these things, what do you do to take care of yourself? Like, how do you take a second for Robin? What's your favorite way to do that?
Ooh, that's a good question. I love mood boarding. Cute. So that's kind of one of the things that I like to do when I'm just kind of like relaxing, and I kind of just like let my mind drift away from all of the type A things. I would say that's the hardest thing for me, is to like not be busy. So I always try to do one thing every day that is solely for me, or just something that I want to do because it's my choice. So for me, it looks different every day. Mood boarding is one thing that I really love. I like to hold myself accountable for like having those moments too. And then for me, also like working out is a great outlet for me. In the winter, I do a lot of skating. I play volleyball. So I think just kind of moving my body, or when I'm not moving my body, just doing something that is like kind of more like relaxing for me. But I will say I don't ever have a moment where my brain's fully off. I'm trying to get better at like maybe practicing more meditation or something.
Like it's always like something.
Running.
Yeah, I'm on go. But we're working on it.
Soon.
For me, I have to say, what is meant for you will not miss you. I feel like I struggled a lot, maybe like the last like few years, thinking about like where I was gonna be at a certain point in my life, and I always relate that back to like an age. And where I'm at right now, I'm so appreciative of the journey, because even how far Robin and I have come in Cyro in our careers and like where we want to take it, I think this was the year it was like meant to happen, and I probably couldn't like see that and understand that last year or the year before. So it's really nice like trying like seeing everything like come to light. So it's teaching me patience, because this is like the time. There is a time and place like for everything. So I have to like remind myself like I am exactly like where I need to be, and whatever else is coming like will come like at its right time. So yeah.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's I guess something specific you would call out for, like, if you had to go back and tell your younger self, looking ahead in this timeline, if there's something you'd have said to maybe better prepare you or make you more patient early?
I don't even know if my younger self would listen to myself, but I don't know. I guess the little sayings like literally trust the process. I feel like sometimes I will think of like the destination before like actually taking like the steps I need to get there. I've always been, I guess, impatient in that way, and like there always does need to be like a lot of like back work. So I think how it happens exactly, it was how it was supposed to happen. So just literally teaching like my younger self patience, put the time in, put the work in, it will like show and it will come back to you eventually. And like that's like for everything like in my life. So yeah, I have to keep applying that.
I love that. Oh, you guys did such a good job just saying everything so beautifully. I'm like so attentive, and I'm like, you know what? No, you're right. You're right. I think it's a lot of things that a lot of us women in our 20s experience. I think, especially in a day and age like this now, where we grew up learning that things had to be a certain way by a certain time. And then by the time we got into that age, everything kind of flipped and switched. And now there's no real rules. There's no structure the same way that there used to be. So I think it's interesting the way that all of us try to navigate that. But I think you guys have some wonderful advice there, not just for yourselves, but for all the ladies out there listening. Make sure you guys soak that in. So before we go, tell us, I know we spoke about Cyro's World coming up, but what else do you guys want to let our audience know that you guys have coming up? Or what are you looking forward to?
Oh my gosh, so much. We're going into summer, so
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
We're
summer. Get me on go.
Yeah, we're getting locked and loaded. We have our Out with the Girls series, which is every single month. It's a ladies only event series that we're doing. Honestly, we're trying to kind of change the narrative of what traditional partying looks like and how we celebrate each other and how we socialize. So we do cocktail receptions, which are amazing. We also are doing some more wellness events, which is really fun. So stay tuned for that. We have a lot of fun programming and a lot of collaborations coming up with other women-owned and led businesses. So just keep your eyes peeled. Be a subscriber on our website, and you will get first access to a lot of this stuff. You might even get discounts on our public parties. So really great things through that little kind of membership that we're building there.
Yeah. I will say, look out for Glossy. That was like our first branded party that we.
Yeah, Glossy's
Yeah.
Glossy has
Glossy's
never
always
left.
there. Glossy
Glossy's
is never
always
like,
there.
yeah.
She's always there, but she has very, very specific special moments.
Yeah, she comes at a certain time. So we're currently working on that, and we're trying to do it a little differently this year. So when that comes to light, we'll be very excited to share that with you guys, because Glossy is near dear to our hearts. It was like, it's our first branded party, and it'll always be there. And it's still around, working with women, all women DJ lineup. Just love women.
And Caravana.
Ooh.
Oh,
Caravana weekend.
Where
Caravana.
Caribbean ladies don't.
Caravana is going to be 10 out of 10. I mean, it always is, but
Always.
We do have some
this
stuff.
year,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're already.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, make sure
Yeah.
Tap
There's
in.
a lot.
head to the
Cyro,
website.
Yep.
Tap
Make sure
in.
you're a subscriber. Make sure you're getting those emails so you can keep up with all of the amazing programming that they got going on. So tell us, where can our audience find you guys? Whether
the
to listen, whether to tap in, whether to keep posted.
The website.
So Instagram is cyro.sound. So CYRO.sounds. That is also our TikTok. And then our website is cyrosounds.com.
Nice. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, thank you guys so much for tuning into Lovers Rotation here tonight on CIUT 89.5 FM. As you guys know, we are here at Sleepless Studios. A big shout out to them. Make sure you guys go check them out. They've got podcast studio, DJ studio. They've got a instrument practicing room. They've got everything here. They've even got a co-working space. So big shout out to them for, showing us some love. And, we got to show them some love too. As always, all of our episodes are mixed and mastered by the one and only Des Sound. Make sure you guys go show her some love at des.sound. And all of our videos here on YouTube are edited by the one and only Dapper. Real ones know we miss him. He's out there living life, but still holding it down for the Lovers family. So make sure you guys go show him love. His Instagram is at dapper_TL. So make sure you guys go check him out. And on that note, we're going to say goodbye with the last song of the mix here on Lovers Rotation. As always, if you want to keep up with all of our sounds, keep up with the track list, our Instagram is at lovers.rotation. And if you want to see, if you want to talk anything Lovers related, any song requests, guest requests, anything in between, our email is loversrotation@ciut.fm. And on that note, we're going to say our goodbyes. As always, make sure to stay connected, stay safe, and smile. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.